Hey guys, Lorrena Magaña here with new Filmmakers Los Angeles, coming to you from the Camrich showroom in West Hollywood. Today I'm talking to director Chad Kukahiko about his new film, Tuesday Morning. Hi Chad, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So Chad, tell us how you came up with the idea behind Tuesday Morning.
Well, I actually didn't. The writer Darryl Carson did, and he read it at this film collective that I'm a part of called We Make Movies, and I loved it right away. And it was a little bit different than it is now. It was called The Opportunists, and I begged him to let me direct it, and he said no at first. He said no. He said he wants to use it as his sort of directorial debut, and so time went on, and I kept paying attention, and he didn't do anything with it. So about a year and a half later, I said, "Look, you haven't done anything. Can we do it?" And he at that point said, "Yeah, let's do it." So it was kind of different when it first started.
Okay.
The two lead characters were a little bit less sort of sympathetic, and they were more opportunists, hence
Okay.
the original title. And so when we first met to talk, and he hadn't actually at this point given me permission yet, so he was trying to feel me out, you know. It was so I told him some of my ideas, and he was like, "Oh, that's different. Okay, then let's do this." And then he kept, every time I told him other ideas that he would edit it, and I didn't expect him to. I was just telling him what I was going to do, but he would change the script and the title. It went through 4 different titles.
Really?
Yeah, we actually shot under the title wrong, and then while we were in post, he changed it again to Tuesday Morning, which I love. I love the title now.
Now, did you come up with the twist
That
of the
was
story, or was that all?
That was already in it.
Okay.
They just there were certain small details that were different at the beginning, and they were, you know, it was the thing that I'm really interested in as an artist, not just as a director, but as a producer and as a, you know, a writer. Everything is sort of moral conundrums. I love putting an audience in the position of not knowing who to care about, and being, you know, seeing good people make rough decisions and not knowing. I love my dream is for audience members to go to the coffee shop or the bar afterwards and get into arguments about which character did the right thing, or, you know, like that's what this turned, I think, more and more into, you know.
But it does ask the viewer, you know, those questions. And,
Yeah.
you know, what would you do? Because
Yeah.
from the beginning of the film, you're watching it going, these are two lovers.
Right.
And then you get the reveal, the first reveal.
Yeah.
And you're sort of like, ooh.
They're not married.
They're not married. It's very clandestine.
Yes.
And then you get the third reveal.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're sort of like, whoa. Wait,
Yeah, right,
is
yeah.
what I think happening?
Yeah.
And you're sort of watching it going, okay. And then, you know, the bomb gets dropped on you.
Yeah.
And then there is that dilemma at the end.
Right.
And when you finally see the final scene with the two housemaids coming in.
Right.
And, you know, there's that piece of evidence
Right,
that they were there.
Yeah.
It's sort of, you're going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How are they even going to get away?
Right.
How are they going to get away with this?
Yeah.
And then would you do the same? And I kept thinking, like,
Right.
oh my God, I don't know how I would, because it was a national tragedy.
Yeah.
And so you're asking yourself, what? Whoa. I mean, it's just, it does throw your viewers for a loop. And I like that you asked, you know, a very difficult question.
Yeah. I mean, I think that to make the film really, really work, it's more than just putting those characters into that position. The concept that I really fought hard with first of all, Darrow, the writer, sort of to get permission, and also with the actors, was I thought of these two people as climbers initially. Yeah. And they had been so driven their entire lives that they didn't really ever have a first love. And so they both kind of peaked in their life at the same time in the same kind of way. And the idea was that they were on some conference or at some point, and they both sort of realized together that I'm here, I'm where I would need to be. Yeah. Got the great wife, the great husband, the great job. I'm at the peak of my game. And then they just let themselves relax and had a fling on accident, sort of like got drunk, and then they ended up having their first love. And so they are each other's first love is the idea.
Yeah.
And I know that you're never really going to be able to get that across in a film, but that level of love is the kind of thing that an audience can respond to and say, well, can you really blame them for doing this awful, awful thing that they're doing to their families, you know? And so that's kind of the conundrum that I wanted to create with people, you know?
Now, you touch on something that I want to ask you about is you do make your characters likable.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Because you feel for them.
Yeah.
How much of that was you as a director, and how much of that was, you know, rehearsal time from the actors and really the casting as well?
The difficulty with casting this piece was you had to find two actors that had legitimate chemistry, and not just a sexual chemistry, but a real love chemistry, that you could believe these two people are really deeply in love with each other. But they also had to be good.
Yeah.
You know, they had to be good actors, and they had to be able to capture the moments, because it's an interesting balance, because you have these people that are at the top of their game, so they have to look and feel professional.
Yeah.
And ambitious, but they also have to have this rapport with each other. And so it was a difficult choice. We cast this over several weeks. And then once it was cast, then we rehearsed quite a bit as well. So, I mean, you know, obviously, I'm the director, I'm on that side of the camera. You know what I mean? I can't do any of they have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
But I'm very like, sort of hands-on.
You're an actor's director.
Yeah. I mean, I was an actor for a really long time, so I know how difficult it is to pull this kind of stuff off. And they were great. I mean, I would work with either of these actors again at the drop of a hat. You know.
Was there at any point when you were talking with Daryl, instead of taking this short and keeping it as a short, ever expanding it into a feature?
He has. I don't necessarily see it, and I'm not the writer anyway,
Okay.
so I don't know if it's my business to do that. But a big part of us doing this film in the first place was that there's a production team, the DP and a few of the production people, they have a production company up in Reno, and we have a feature that we're working on together that has very similar sort of moral conundrums.
Okay.
And I tried to turn that script into a short, and it just didn't work as a short. You know, some things work as shorts and some things don't. And so when I saw this, and Daryl finally gave me, which by the way, I just realized he's getting married like right now in France, in Paris.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Daryl.
Congratulations, Daryl.
Because we couldn't do a short version of that feature, which is called Ms. Young, and it's about similar kind of thing, but it's murder actually that these friends are kind of covering up.
Wow.
Kind of, yeah. It's a really interesting story. I wrote that one, so I can't praise it too much without sounding ridiculous. But we wanted to find something with similar moral, quandaries, and this was perfect. So he came down, he shot it. His name's Ryan Baker up in Reno, has a production company called Six Gun, and he brought a few of his people. And so my little production company, we came together and we did this.
Thank you so much, Chad, for taking the time to talk to us, and thank you, Daryl, for allowing Chad.
Yes.
to
Congratulations.
Yes, and congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.